Life presents one with a lot of odd and sometimes difficult realities, which is to say, we are individuals who need to behave as though things are permanent even though they're in a constant state of flux. We rely upon certain things not changing in order to address other things that are more obviously in flux. One of the areas that people build a lot of identity stuff around is one's mate or one's significant other, for those who have one. Now, I think that unfortunately, we as a society place far too much emphasis on that, but we've largely internalized that as well. So the relationships in our lives gather weight as they persist over time. You maintain all the shared narratives, the history of stuff that's happened before, and it can be difficult. When you start a relationship, you don't really think of it in terms of, are we building the narrative, shared narrative history that's going to produce a rich, fulfilling marriage 10 years from now? Or are we building a set of points of division? As a relationship ages, you draw your battle lines here or there or wherever, and those things become kind of ritualized, so that those exchanges of resentment, basically, where two parties exchange resentment at each other, becomes habituated, becomes part of the relationship ritual. These things are even more complicated when one of the parties in a relationship, at least, was in the throes of alcoholism for some period of that relationship. It makes it difficult to do much beyond batten down the hatches, But on the other side of that, you're dealing with someone who's developed a series of behaviors that are associated with that. It takes a long time to undo those associations. When communication in a relationship breaks down for a long period of time, it doesn't, those things that don't get communicated about don't go away. Some things are resolvable and some things aren't. So anyway, I don't know what's going to happen with my marriage. I know that Candace and I have some significant differences. I know that yesterday I went to a wedding with Candace and her people and stuff, and in her mind anyway, it exposed some of the core differences in who we are and what we need. In other words, I don't like weddings. May I just say, in regards to that, nobody else does either, except they're drinking alcohol. A lot of it. So they're not feeling particularly uncomfortable. But anyway, I guess the real question is this. If we take fear out of the equation, would my wife and I stay together? Should my wife and I stay together? And it's an incredibly difficult question to answer. I know neither of us are pushing hard to get out or anything. There hasn't been any infidelity or anything like that. We just like different things. And there are some areas where the two sets intersect, and there are some areas where the two sets produce conflict, you know? And so anyway, I'm making an effort to see. I'm not convinced yet. This should end. She seems a little more convinced than I am. But I understand her point. Well, one of the most serious risks in life, in my opinion, for me and for a lot of people, is what we would call grass is greener syndrome. I don't want to stress, I don't think either of us are looking for another mate, a different mate. Maybe like long term, but we just feel as though that there's a lot of difficult emotions associated with staying together. Obviously, incredibly difficult emotions associated with splitting. I don't know. I do know that I love the hell out of my wife. I don't know if that's enough. She doesn't know if that's enough. So, we'll see. Thanks for oversharing, Eric. It's what I do.